Good day, everyone. I am Keezer James G. Esteves, researcher from Humanities and Social Sciences 12A. Our research title is SMIT Senior High School, an analysis towards students' psychological responses to online learning. We choose this research title because we know that many students here in our school are combating their psychological dilemmas because of online learning. Here in Chapter 1, we have the background of the study. The background of the study is the part of our research provided in introduction section of the paper. Having exclusively online interactions can have a real impact on the mental health of the student. Mental health problems can affect a student's energy level, concentration, dependability, mental ability, and performance. Online learning can cause social isolation and can cause students to not develop needed communication skills. We all know that mental health is very important. So, here in the research questions, the answer for these questions we'll find out at the end of the paper. In the scope and the limitation, is to determine the psychological responses of the students that engage in online learning. In this way, we could also determine the profile of the students. The next is the statement of the problem. We have we have three statement of the problem that will address the indicated items. The first is what are the extent effects of online learning in terms of mental health, delayed feedback from the instructors, stress, pressure, and second, to what extent effects of online learning in terms of social life, emotional, and mental. Third, what is the demographic profile of respondent in terms of grade level, strand, and gender. The next chapter is the chapter 2. Chapter 2 represents the review of related literature and also its references. The conceptual framework of our study has dependent and independent variable. The dependent variable is online learning and the independent variable is mental health. And also, we indicate the definition of terms. The next chapter is chapter 3, the methodology. So in the research design, the quantitative type of research was employed in the study using survey as the main data gathering. And in the research population and sample, we have all the 196 grade 12 students of senior high school in Southern Mindanao Institute of Technology Incorporated, and the sample size will be 132. So in the sampling procedure, this is the procedure to get the sample size. Here in the research instrument, the researcher used stratified survey tool coming from the experts. Tool can be a survey or checklist. In the validity and reliability of instrument, the Likert scale survey utilized in this research study. So the type of survey equipment used in this study is validated per the various types of validity instruments. The reliability of the research tool shall be attested by the correlation between the scores and the two instruments. In data collection procedure, the set of survey was distributed through online with the assistance of the advisors, and the results was analyzed and interpreted with the help of a mathematics teacher. And the last part of the chapter 3 is the data analysis. In data analysis, the data obtained, the questionnaire were tallied, the results were interpreted using a z-test. The next chapter is the chapter 4. In this chapter, it will discuss the data analysis and interpretation, the data presented by the Likert scale. So the table 1 shows the strand, number of respondents, and the percentage. To identify the range interval and verbal interpretation, this will be the basis. The mean average and the verbal interpretation for 4-point 4.51 to 5.00 is strongly agree. For 3.51 to 4.50 is agree. 2.51 to 3.50, the verbal interpretation is disagree. To 1.51 to 2.50, the verbal interpretation is strongly agree. And into 1.00 to 1.50, the verbal interpretation is neutral. So here in the table 2 shows the effects of online learning with the overall mean of 3.21, which means the effect of online learning is disagree. In the table 3 shows the extent negative effect of online learning with the overall mean of 3.71, which means the extent negative effect of online learning is agree. Okay, the last chapter is the chapter 5. This chapter presents the summary of findings, the conclusion, and the corresponding recommendations. The summary of findings is the profile of the respondent showed 55% of the student is coming from Humss 12 strand, and 45% of the students is coming from the ABM 12, ICT 12, and Automotive 12 strand with a total of 100%. So and the effect of online learning to the students is disagree based on the survey with the overall mean of 3.21. And the extent negative effects of online learning to the students had a verbal interpretation agree with the overall mean of 3.71, which based on the survey. So for the conclusion, we conduct research, research survey through Google Forms. And out of 132 respondents, we received only 20 responses from November 24, 2021, 3 p.m. until November 26, 2021, 10 a.m. Instead of using Z-test to solve the results, we utilize the t-test. And for the recommendations, the following recommendations is hereby suggested. First, the school administrators should strictly observe classes to make sure that all the students are attending online classes. Second, school guidance should have a monthly consultation on the students' mental health. Third, the study for improving mental programs and activities for students dealing with stress. Thank you and God bless. Once again, I am Kaiser James G. Esteves, researcher from Humanities and Social Sciences 12A. And also my research buddy is Cedric Jude Castañares from Humanities and Social Sciences 12A.